Hey, how's everybody doing? It's time to do another cooking video for you. I left the door open. I wasn't supposed to do that, but that's okay. You can't see in the closet anyway. Nothing to see in there. I don't know, maybe one of those weird ghost videos will happen and some weird creepy face and the ghost will do one of those peekaboo things they do in all these supposed ghost videos that you see on the top 10 lists everywhere that I laugh at because the ghosts do the same thing. It's always this. It's literally this. And then the camera goes away and then the ghost is magically gone. Anyway, God, those videos are stupid, and the fact that people think they're real is kind of funny and sad all at the same time. But I do watch them because they are funny. Anyway, I'm going to be making some of my tomato sauce today. So yeah, the tomato sauce today, yeah, that you heard that, right? No, some of my tomato sauce that I used to make back then. I'm not doing my exact recipe. My tomato sauce then was considered one of the best in all of York region. I'm very proud of that. I'm not doing the exact recipe because I don't have everything I need for that. I'm going to do a more basic one, and it's an easy one that you can make at home, and that's sort of the point of these videos, as I always state. And we'll see how it goes. And I got my bandana on, but it's being a little weird. Maybe I'll pull it down. Do a little suicidal tendencies thing going on today. Beware, he's possessed to cook. Yeah. But unlike Mike from Suicidal, I got Pepsi. And if you get that reference, we can be friends. Anyway, you know what? I can take this off and you can look at my sexy bald head for the next 20 minutes or so. Anyway, so what I'm going to do here, I got some garlic and a little trick to get the skins off easier. I didn't have these in there very long, but you take your garlic when you break it up and you get the it's not supposed to be there and that's not supposed to be there, and you get your garlic cloves, and what you do is you just take, I use a meat hammer. You don't have to you can use anything that works, and just give it a little tap. Everything's in the wrong spot. I didn't prep myself very good today. That's better. And I don't even got my non-slips underneath. Alright. Half the video runtime is just me being an idiot because I wasn't setting myself up. That's alright. That's what makes these videos funny sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, you just give it a little tap so the skin gets a little bit loose. So like so. And then you just put it in some water and you let it soak for an hour or so. You know, or even all night if you wish. But move these because I don't need them. And then once they're in the water, these didn't soak that long, so the skin's not going to come off as easy as I left my garbage in the other room. But the skin's not going to come off as easy as they normally would, but you can sort of get the idea. That just sort of, so you don't just sort of peel off easily. So I'm going to get a couple of these ready. I'm going to get my pot on the heat. I'm just going to make the sauce. I'm not actually going to cook pasta right now. I probably will later when Tracy gets home, so she can have, she's at work, so when she can have some supper when she gets home. And let me just peel this garlic real fast. Maybe. And get my paring knife, which probably makes, plus I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really see what I'm doing as good as I should be. And I guess I can pop those on. Sorry about the shiny globe on the top of my neck, but now you know why I always wear a hat. But anyway, I got this. I don't need too many. I don't need the heat on that high. So anyway, I don't know what that was. That's a word I made up, I think, just now. So that's probably enough. There's these 4 pieces. They're good sized pieces, so my hands are rinse because they're going to get sticky from the garlic. And I'm going to, I don't need my hammer. And like I often do, actually I'm going to cut the ends off first because they don't break down and you don't want to bite into one later on because they're not going to be bad for you. They just kind of hurt your teeth when you're not expecting them. But anyway, give them a crush with the flat side of the knife. or with the side of the knife, just like that. And what I usually do is I just give it another quick little, pot's getting kind of hot, so I'm going to throw some olive oil. You can use whatever oil you want. I prefer olive oil for my pasta, or my pasta sauce, my tomato sauce rather. Turn it down a bit. You don't want it too hot because if you don't want to burn the garlic, and I'm going to put some onions. You don't want to burn the garlic or the onions. It's not going to be too pleasant. Get that dry side off. And that. There. Found my onion jar. I just have a jar I keep my cut onions in, or and garlic in. I couldn't find it for the longest time, but I think it was just put away and I didn't notice. So I'm gonna dice up some onions. I don't want to put too much because I'm not making a whole big batch. I'm used to making like a big batch in the kitchens and stuff, but I'm just making it at home. How hot are we doing? Pop that off the heat. These nice little dice, nice little cut. Got some skin in there. And this one. La, 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 la. Alright, let's get that on there. Let that get to a little bit more of a heat while I crack a beer. Yeah, my head is shiny. There, that's better. That. I feel like I'm in a sushi kitchen. Don't be offended, I didn't make a racism. Anyway, let's get that in there. Got that sizzle going that we love to hear. A little bit more. All that happening right there. Alright, well that's doing that. Give it a little, let it sweat out all that flavor. Add a tiny bit more oil. There we go. Oopsie. Alright, so I got some fresh oregano and some fresh basil. You don't need to use the fresh stuff, I just prefer it. And it is better if you can get fresh rather than dried, but both work. So I got, let's pull it off the stem here. Put it in a nice little pile. If you're cutting larger basil leaves, these are just ones we had growing here in the house. I don't know how it ended up. It was just sort of growing in the corner. I don't know. I don't know how. It was just, maybe it's just a dirty part of the house. But I'm kidding, of course. So we have, Tracy had some growing that we used to cook from time to time. But if you got the big leaves, the best way to cut them is actually stack them and then roll them up kind of like a joint, and then just chop them all at once instead of trying to do it one at a time. You're going to be there a lot longer doing it that way. So I'm going to give that a stir. I can get the smells coming out really nicely. I could probably turn it up just a little bit. Give this a little bit better of a chop. There's not really a lot going into this. Usually when I would make it before, I would put, like in the kitchens, I would put a lot more into it. This is really simple. People are probably going to watch this and go, yeah, that's pretty much how I make it. What's the big deal? And it's not a big deal, but not everybody knows how to make it. They'd rather buy the stuff in the can already made, which I do all the time anyway, because it's quicker and easier. But if you want to make some, then this is it. But like I said, I'm not going to make any pasta or anything. It's literally the sauce, and it's going to be, we're at 9 minutes, but that was mostly because I was screwing around a lot in the beginning. But it's going to be simple. You can see they're starting to get a little bit translucent. They're starting to sweat out a lot, and the smell of the scent is really coming out. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add my fresh herbs, just like that. Stir that around in there so it's all nicely incorporated, just like that. And then I got here, usually what I would do is deglaze it with some white or maybe some red wine if I had it, but I don't have any handy. But what I do have, I had some leftover beef broth. kick around. So I'm gonna use that. It is better with wine, but it's still good with this. And you don't want to let this get too hot, because what will happen is, especially if you're using dry herbs, they will they'll turn black, and they could get have could have a bitter taste to it. But so keep it low, don't let it get too hot, and then give that a little bit there. And the reason I do this, a lot of chefs would see that as a faux pas to do it at that point. But what I do is, when I'm cooking it in a big batch, I keep it on sort of more of a lower heat, let's say, like medium. Like, you can see what my hands are doing besides moving back and forth. But I keep them on a lower heat. I'm actually going to turn this up a little bit more because I'm only making it at home. But yeah, sorry, keep it on a lower heat so it sweats the flavors out more and more evenly. But just to make it at home, small batch, it's really not that big of a deal. And like I said, I'm not making it the same way I'd make it in a professional kitchen, let's say. You know, if the day comes and I eventually decide to have my channel monetized, then I guess you could say it'd be a professional kitchen, because then I'd be paid to be making these videos. But I'm paid off with the love you give me. But anyway, I'm just going to use canned tomatoes. So what I like to do is I like to do half diced and half crushed. I mix them together. In a way, it doesn't really matter. I don't like using the whole ones because that's a little too high. I don't like using the whole ones because it takes longer to break down, but you can do that too. And I'm going to end up blending it when it's all incorporated and cooked through anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just find this easier. So like this, open her up. I don't add salt until after the tomatoes are in. Just always watch out for the edges are always sharp, and also make sure you don't get these little bits of paper from the tops of the cans into the sauce and into your food. I mean, it's not toxic or anything, but it's just not, you don't really want to eat it. So I'm just going to add this. And just when you're pouring it, just simple things. Some people don't always think of this. Don't pour it with the can this way. Always make sure it's here, because sometimes when you pour it, some of it runs down the side. So, right. Now I'll do the ground twist. Now I can turn the heat up a bit, because it's gonna probably even have to pause this a bit, because it does take time to reduce. One of the things I would sometimes do in the profession, when I was doing Italian fine dining as a chef, I would add a bit of a roux, which is flour and oil, just a little bit, just to thicken it up near the end. But I prefer not to do that, but sometimes I would, because of the amount we were making. Anyway, there's my ground. And then what I do, which is, I think most people know this because you still got that bit in there, is just add a little water to the can, stir it around, and just use that up. So I'm going to hit pause for just a second, because this is going to take some time. And I'm going to give it a stir. Knife and... oh, that's not my cooking spoon. That's my fun spoon. Where's my cooking spoon? Alright. Pretend you didn't see that. Sometimes I forget I'm cooking at home and not at work. I'm kidding, I don't do that at work. But anyway, so there's that. And let that reduce. So I'm going to keep this where it is. Pop the lid on it, slightly open. And I'm going to hit pause, and I will see you in seconds, or see you right now. Hi, I'm back. And I got a hat on this time because I got tired of staring at my bald head on the screen. I don't mind that I have no hair. It's just that with the lighting in here, I realized I look like, I don't know, extra bald? I don't know. But it was shiny, so I got tired of looking at it, so I threw a hat on. Anyway, I also changed the pot because that pot was a little, when I realized how much sauce I actually had in here, that pot was a little bit too small. It was kind of bubbling everywhere, making a mess. And I'm gonna give everything a quick wipe, but I also decided to make some pasta anyway because it's getting late and Tracy will be home and I want to have something nice and warm for when she comes home from work. So that's what's happening now. Like I said, this isn't a very exciting meal. I just wanted to show how easy you can make some tomato sauce and pasta sauce, whatever, at home. The longest part about this is just waiting for it to reduce. I'm going to take these off for a second. Stir. Never seen it so steamy over here. But give that a little bit of stir, see how we're doing. It smells good, but I'm definitely going to have to add a couple things to it. If I was at work, I'd be using 2 different spoons, don't worry. But I figure since the person I'm making it for I kiss every once in a while, she'll be okay with me doing that. That's all. Or we just won't tell her. I need a fork for the penne. That's what I'm using this time for the pasta, is some penne. Gluten-free, of course, for Tracy's preference, which is fine by me. So I'm going to throw in a little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt. And grab the lid, which is not too hot. Put that on there with a little bit of air to get the steam out, let it reduce a little bit. So I'm going to fill this video up mostly with me talking because it's not that exciting. I'll just spin the knife for a while. Do it this way. It's closed up. This is going to be another couple minutes for the actual pasta. So definitely not one of our most adventurous outings this time, but you know, it's yeah, it looks great, eh? All that, it's just nothing but steam. Trying to show it to you, but it's just steam. That's all I've been making. It's just water and dry ice. The tomatoes were just food coloring. I don't know what that was all about. Something's popped up on my screen, but let's hope that is nothing, because I'm not running out of space, so I'm not running out of memory by any means, so I have no idea what that was. Hopefully I'm recording still, so there's not an error. Anyway, see how the pasta is. Still a little al dente. This here. I was going to blend it, but I don't think I need to, so I don't need to play with my new toy. This is what I used in the other video. These are actually really good. They're really handy. It's like, instead of just always using a blender, because I do have a blender. I have a big ass Ninja, and it sounds like a motorcycle, but these are great. Just point them away from your face and crotch when you're using them. But we doing here? I'm gonna pause this one more time, and then so we're hitting the 20-minute mark, and when I pop back on the screen again, everything should be pretty much ready to go. Back. So anyway, the pasta was done. It's a little bit al dente the way it should be, and now the sauce is done, and I'm gonna turn that. Actually, I'm gonna let that just keep going just for a minute because there's a couple things I just want to set up. And I'm not gonna lie, I did add a little bit of cornstarch in there to thicken it up a little, just because it's running a little longer than I had anticipated, but that's okay. That's on me. And get set up here to give everything a taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this pan here. Because I got more tomato sauce than I'm going to use for one bowl of pasta. So I'm going to put a little bit in the pan, more or less how I would at work, or in a professional kitchen anyway. Just going to grab a spoon. Do I have a spoon over there? No, I didn't grab a spoon. So, here we go. Grab a spoon. We're good. Okay, so I'll turn this off. And throw some in the pan, then you can actually see what it looks like. I did accidentally drop some penne in here, so if you're wondering why there's pasta in here, that's why. But I would have preferred it if I used a lot more greens, like a lot more basil, a little bit more color in it. But so it's just a very basic red sauce right now. Pretty easy, but the basil I had left and the oregano, I didn't really have a lot, so I was just kind of working with what I had. I would have liked to have used a lot more, but that's okay. This is just like all my videos, they're just for fun. So I'm just gonna grab some of the pasta from the colander. I'm not gonna put it all in, but a little. Give it a toss. There we go. So it just pretty much looks like what you would expect it to look like. But like I said, it could have used a little bit more green. The thing with this pasta too, you can make a pot of it. You can freeze, use some, freeze some, and then if you want to add other things to it, all you got to do is saute up some mushrooms or saute up some bacon or beef or whatever, sausage, whatever you want to throw in there, peppers, whatever, and saute all that up nicely, and then incorporate or just add the pasta sauce and warm it all up together, and it'll be great. But that's just basically just the pasta, or sorry, just the sauce itself. And that's all I was just trying to do a demo of today, or do a video for today. But you can always definitely add more things to it, which I would advise, because I mean tomato sauce and just penne isn't really too exciting. What I'll probably end up doing is sauteing up a few things, so when Tracy gets home I can reheat it, and it's going to have a little bit more to it than just what you see here. I'm going to put it in a bowl and make it look like something to eat, just so you can just get an idea of what it is, and also just to close out the video. So I'm just going to pass it in the bowl there, just like so. Throw a little more sauce on top. Just like that. And grab some cheese. Just like so. And my grater. Just throw some cheese on top of it there. Just like that. And that's good enough. And there you go. And it's, you know, it's just a simple tomato sauce that anybody can make. And it was, you know, I just wanted to make a video today and I didn't want to do anything too exciting. And just to show how easy you can just make an easy tomato sauce for pasta. But like I said, you can saute some other things in a pan. Later save it, freeze it, whatever. You know, make a big batch, however you want to do it. And do different things with it. Because it's that's kind of what tomato sauce is good for. You can just do anything to it. Make a bolognese, make a tomato primavera, whatever you want to do. Anyway, this is Cooking at Home with Jack Ackman, and I will see you all in the next one. Actually, I didn't try it yet, did I? It's kind of hot, but let's see. That's pretty much what I was expecting. Would have been nicer if I was able to incorporate, like I said, more greens, more herbs, fresh herbs. I didn't want to throw dry ones in with the fresh ones. I do have a lot of dry ones in the drawer, but I just didn't want to. I just prefer one or the other. But anyway, like I said, Cooking with Ackman, and I will see you all in the next one. All right, have a good night.